Clever, isn't it? In simple terms, it's a neurological wave that triggers the centers of aggression and switches off inhibitors.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 smartest villain plans in movies.
They're probably abducting black people, brainwashing them, and making them slaves, or sex slaves, not just regular slaves.
For this list, we'll be looking at the most nuanced, diabolical, and effective schemes from movie villains. A spoiler alert is in effect. Did we forget an evil plan worth mentioning? Let us know in the comments below. Number 10. Voldemort splits his soul into Horcruxes. Harry Potter franchise. Lord Voldemort is the most feared villain in the Harry Potter universe. Even his name is forbidden. He achieved immortality via Horcruxes, objects that store pieces of his soul. The evil wizard uses these to cheat death during his attempt to rid the world of muggles.
Protected.
That part of your soul that is hidden lives on. In other words, you cannot die.
It takes a substantial amount of work to even track down and destroy the Horcruxes, let alone confront Voldemort himself. The sorcerer only falls after the combined efforts of Hogwarts students and teachers, and of course, the courageous efforts of Harry Potter himself.
Oh, come on, Tom. Let's finish this the way we started it.
Together.
Number 9. Simon Gruber tunnels into the Federal Reserve Bank. Die Hard with a Vengeance. The third film in the series takes the franchise to the streets of New York.
Is there a detective named McClane there?
He's on suspension.
No, Walter, he's not. Not today.
John McClane must foil the plans of villain Simon Gruber, but is unable to catch him before he robs the Federal Reserve Bank. The thief uses bombs as diversions while he accesses the vault from underground, tunneling through from a subway spur and escaping with the loot via aqueduct.
Damn, this is heavy. They cleaned out a whole room of this?
Yeah.
You know, that would have taken like a tank or
A dump truck. 14 great big dump trucks.
Alarmed by the realism and cleverness of the plot, the FBI questioned screenwriter Jonathan Hensley before the movie's release. The scheme might have a few Hollywood flourishes, but it has enough legitimacy to have interested the authorities.
And remember, this is all due to the gullibility of the New York Police Department.
Number 8. The Armitages lure in victims. Get Out. Jordan Peele's horror masterpiece follows Chris, a black photographer, as he meets the family of his white girlfriend, Rose.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? How long?
It's finally revealed that the Armitages lead a cult that harvests black bodies, using them to achieve a measure of immortality. Rose acts as a honey trap, lulling victims into a false sense of security and luring them to a relatively remote location in upstate New York.
You're so mad at you because you never take my advice.
Like what?
Like, don't go to a white girl parent's house.
Rose's mother, Missy, uses hypnosis to prepare them for the process, and her father, Dean, performs the brain transplants. It's a dark and cunning scheme where everyone in the family plays a role.
Where are those keys, Rose?
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
Number 7. Kaiser Sose hides plots within plots. The Usual Suspects. Christopher McQuarrie won an Oscar for his screenplay, which features a meticulous plot within a plot from its main villain, criminal mastermind Kaiser Sose.
He's supposed to be Turkish. Some say his father was German. Nobody ever believed he was real. Nobody ever knew him or saw anybody that ever worked directly for him.
After criminals raid a drug smuggling ship, only Verbal Kint is left alive to tell the tale. According to Verbal, Sose blackmailed Verbal and others into the raid, which turns out to have been an elaborate ploy to kill off a smuggler who could identify Sose.
If he comes up for anything, it'll be to get rid of me. After that, my guess is you'll never hear from him again.
Verbal confesses that one of his now-dead accomplices was Sose. Only when it's too late does Kuyan realize that Verbal made up the whole story, drawing on objects in the room. The improvisation pays off as the real Sose disappears before anyone can catch him.
And like that, he's gone.
Number 6. HYDRA Infiltrates S.H.I.E.L.D. Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This Marvel movie can also be seen as a political thriller, buying into the genre with tricky schemes from its villains.
Sorry about what happened with Fury. Messed up what happened to him.
Thank you.
Turns out that the Hydra Group isn't just a big bad organization where everyone wears matching uniforms. Covering all their bases, the evil group has decided to plant spies in S.H.I.E.L.D. and work their way all the way up to the top.
S.H.I.E.L.D. is not what we thought it was. It's been taken over by HYDRA.
Alexander Pierce is their leader.
This gives them eyes and ears in places where their rivals would least expect. As the titular hero and his friends track down their enemies, they realize that the vast conspiracy has compromised the people they trust the most.
Soldiers trust each other. That's what makes it an army, not a bunch of guys running around shooting guns.
Last time I trusted someone, I lost an eye.
Number 5. Amy Dunn frames her husband and ex, Gone Girl. Amy Dunn doesn't let her husband nick off easy for his infidelity.
Yes, I loved you, and then all we did was resent each other and try to control each other and cause each other pain.
That's marriage.
Rather than divorcing him, she plans her own disappearance in a chilling fashion. This involves leaving a trail of evidence to implicate her partner. All signs point to Nick being responsible, but the villain is smart enough to improvise when things don't go her way.
I will practice believing my husband loves me and will love this baby. That this child might really save our marriage. But I could be wrong.
She eventually uses an ex-boyfriend as another scapegoat in the film's darkest scene. Once she reappears, she convinces Nick to keep quiet and even raise a child with her. It's a sociopathic scheme that leaves Amy in full control of their relationship.
How are you feeling? What have we done to each other? What will we do?
Number 4. Joker gets arrested. The Dark Knight. The clown prince of crime spends most of this sequel sowing chaos.
Let's not blow this out of proportion.
This doesn't mean that he isn't prepared, though. Joker's seemingly outdone by Batman and sent to jail, but Joker simply planned it that way. His followers kidnap Rachel and Harvey and put them in different locations, sending the Caped Crusader across Gotham.
You know, there's only minutes left, so you're gonna have to play my little game if you want to save one of them.
In the meantime, the antagonist escapes confinement with an explosive device implanted in an unlucky inmate. The resulting car ride through the city is the villain's victory lap. Staying one step ahead of the cops, Joker prepares to cause even more mayhem with his freedom.
The Joker planned to be caught. He wanted me to lock him up in the MCU.
Number 3. Ozymandias frames Dr. Manhattan. Watchmen. Known as the smartest man in the world, Ozymandias showcases his formidable intellect with this plot.
So began my path to conquest. Conquest not of men, but of the evils that beset them.
He orchestrates the exile of the godlike Dr. Manhattan, making it seem like the latter causes cancer in people close to him. Then he blows up Dr. Manhattan's energy reactors around the world. Nations respond by uniting against Dr. Manhattan as a common enemy, bringing the world together. It's a devilish plan that achieves world peace, but at the cost of 15 million lives. The Watchmen are convinced, except for Rorschach, whom Dr. Manhattan himself murders in the final stroke of violence.
Do it!
Number 2. Goldfinger tries to irradiate the gold in Fort Knox. Goldfinger. Any James Bond movie worth its salt needs a memorable villain. Ideally a villain with an outlandish scheme that requires a long explanation.
My plan is foolproof, gentlemen. I call it Operation Grand Slam.
For the classic Goldfinger, the title character plans to break into the gold reserve at Fort Knox. He doesn't want to steal the contents, but rather irradiate them with a dirty bomb.
Well, if you explode it in Fort Knox, the entire gold supply of the United States will be radioactive for 57 years. 58 to be exact.
This idea will taint the expensive bars within the vault and increase the stock of Goldfinger's personal supply. It's a novel and ingenious plot, inspiring every subsequent evildoer in the Bond series to dream bigger.
I apologize, Goldfinger. It's an inspired deal. They get what they want, economic chaos in the West, and the value of your gold increases many times.
I conservatively estimate 10 times.
Brilliant.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. Russell's Ruse, Inside Man. Dalton Russell breaks into a bank and waits for days behind a fake wall.
It's exceedingly simple, because I can. Which leaves us only with the how. And therein, as the bard would tell us, lies the rub.
Valentine's violence-inducing signal. Kingsman, the Secret Service. Samuel L. Jackson's villain uses deadly SIM cards to brainwash people.
What did you do to me? I had no control. I killed all those people.
Skynet targets Sarah Connor, the Terminator. The artificial intelligence uses time travel to prevent Resistance leader John Connor from being born.
It can't be reasoned with. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop, ever, until you are dead.
Lex Luthor's real estate bid, Superman. Luthor buys land, redirects missiles, and uses kryptonite against the Man of Steel.
Everything west of this line is the richest, most expensive real estate in the world. San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco. Everything on this side of the line is just hundreds and hundreds of miles of worthless desert land, which just so happens to be owned by
Lex Luthor Incorporated.
Mysterio's fake hero, Spider-Man Far From Home. Gyllenhaal's character uses Stark tech to make him look like a mighty savior.
Well, I've got a cape and lasers. With our technology and with Edith, Mysterio will be the greatest hero on Earth. Yeah! Then everyone will listen.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. Order 66. Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. After orchestrating the Clone Wars to rise to power, Supreme Chancellor Palpatine pulls out the ultimate betrayal.
Execute Order 66.
Yes, my lord.
He seduces promising Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker to the dark side, frames the Jedi for a coup attempt, and issues Order 66 to the Republic's clone troopers.
We must move quickly. The Jedi are relentless. If they are not all destroyed, it will be civil war without end.
Thanks to chips installed inside the clones, the Order compels them to turn against their own Jedi commanders. Anakin leads the soldiers in decimating the rest of the Jedi on Coruscant. With a new Sith Lord at his side, the Emperor is able to force his will on the galaxy and build an empire.
Become my apprentice. Learn to use the dark side of the Force.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.